Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira vanachari Yamunatira vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajak Acharya Shtottara Shata Shri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Śrīla Prabhupada Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Sarva Shastra Abdipiyusha Sarva Vedaika Satphala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnadya Sarva Lokaika Drikprada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavata Prabho Kalidvanto Ditaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita Paramananda Pathaya Prema Varshaksharayate Sarvada Sarva Sevyaya Shri Krishna Namostume Madhika Bandhu Mad Sangin Mad Guru Man Mahadana Manistaraka Mad Bhagya Madananda Namostute Asadhu Sadhu Tadain Atinicho Chatakara Hanamuncha Kadachin Mam Premna Hritkanta Yospura Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya So we'll be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13. Dhritarashtra quits home. Text 42. Yathā gāvo nasi protās Yathā gāvo nasi protās Tantyāṁ baddhāś dāmabhiḥ Tantyāṁ baddhāś dāmabhiḥ vāk-tantyāṁ nāmabhir baddhā vāk-tantyāṁ nāmabhir baddhā vahanti balim īśituḥ vahanti balim īśituḥ yathā gāvo nasi protās tantyāṁ baddhāś dāmabhiḥ vāk-tantyāṁ nāmabhir baddhā vahanti balim īśituḥ yathā gāvo nasi protās, tantyāṁ baddhāś dāmabhiḥ, vāk-tantyāṁ nāmabhir baddhā, vahanti balim īśituḥ. Ladies. Yathā gāvo nasi protās, tantyāṁ baddhāś dāmabhiḥ, vāk-tantyāṁ nāmabhir baddhā, vahanti balim īśituḥ. Yathā, as much as. Gāvaḥ, cow. Nasi, by the nose. Protāḥ, strung. Tantyāṁ, by the thread. Baddhāḥ, bound by. Cha, also. Dāmabhiḥ, by ropes. Vāk-tantyāṁ, in the network of Vedic hymns. Nāmabhiḥ, by nomenclatures. Baddhāḥ, conditioned. Vahanti, carry on. Balim, orders. īśituḥ, for being controlled by the Supreme Lord. Translation. As a cow, bound through the nose by a long rope, is conditioned, so also human beings are bound by different Vedic injunctions and are conditioned to obey the orders of the Supreme. Purport. Every living being, whether a man or an animal or a bird, thinks that he is free by himself, but actually no one is free from the severe laws of the Lord. The laws of the Lord are severe because they cannot be disobeyed in any circumstance. The man-made laws may be evaded by cunning outlaws, but in the codes of the Supreme Lawmaker, there is not the slightest possibility of neglecting the laws. A slight change in the course of God-made law can bring about a massive danger to be faced by the lawbreaker. Such laws of the Supreme are generally known as the codes of religion under different conditions, but the principle of religion everywhere is one and the same, namely, obey the orders of the Supreme God, the codes of religion. That is the condition of material existence. All living beings in the material world have taken up the risk of conditioned life by their own selection and are thus entrapped by the laws of material nature. The only way to get out of the entanglement is to agree to obey the Supreme. But instead of becoming free from the clutches of Maya or illusion, foolish human beings become bound up by different nomenclatures, being designated as Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Hindus, Mohammedans, Indians, Europeans, Americans, Chinese, and many others, and thus they carry out the orders of the Supreme Lord under the influence of respective scriptural or legislative injunctions. The statutory laws of the state are imperfect imitation replicas of religious codes. The secular state, or the godless state, allows the citizens to break the laws of God, but restricts them from disobeying the laws of the state. The result is that the people in general suffer more by breaking the laws of God than by obeying the imperfect laws made by man. Every man is imperfect by constitution, under conditions of material existence, and there is not the least possibility that even the most materially advanced man can enact perfect legislation. On the other hand, there is no such imperfection in the laws of God. If leaders are educated in the laws of God, there is no necessity of a makeshift legislative council of aimless men. There is necessity of change in the makeshift laws of man, but there is no change in the God-made laws because they are made perfect by the all-perfect personality of Godhead. The codes of religion, scriptural injunctions, are made by liberated representatives of God in consideration of different conditions of living, and by carrying out the orders of the Lord, the conditioned living beings gradually become free from the clutches of material existence. The factual position of the living being is, however, that he is the eternal servitor of the Supreme Lord. In his liberated state, he renders service to the Lord in transcendental love and thus enjoys a life of full freedom, even sometimes on an equal level with the Lord, or sometimes more than the Lord. But in the conditioned material world, every living being wants to be the Lord of other living beings, and thus by the illusion of Maya, this mentality of lording it over becomes a cause of further extension of conditional life. So, in the material world, the living being is still more conditioned until he surrenders unto the Lord by reviving his original state of eternal servitorship. That is the last instruction of the Bhagavad-gītā and all other recognized scriptures of the world. Om Jnana-tinmirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swamiti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshtarine Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyavacha patitānaṁ pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So, the situation at the palace of Hastinapur is that Dhritarashtra left suddenly, and Yudhishthira Maharaj is worried about his uncle. Is worried why did he leave? Will he be protected? He was living. I was maintaining him. It was my duty to do so, and now the anxiety overcame him. And Narada Muni comes and gives his instructions to pacify Yudhishthira. In the verse just before this one, Narada said that should not worry, should not lament for anyone. Everyone is under the control of the Supreme. So sometimes the living beings meet and sometimes they separate. It's all in the arrangement of the Lord. It's not within our control. And now, Narad Muni gives an example how the living entity is controlled by the Lord. Sridhar Swami translates or gives another word for gāvaḥ. He says Balivarda, which means bulls. He takes it as bulls. So as the bulls they are bound by the nose. And now he says that there's two ropes. There's a long rope And there's a shorter rope also. And that's how the bulls are bound. Now, we should know some agriculture, I guess, to fully understand the example. And how the bulls work, how are they, maybe put out to graze, or they work and they're bound. They cannot move freely because they are under the control of their master, of men. So, yes, and they have to, the example which maybe is it's closer to us, to modern man. We have children in kindergartens, and when they go out, for a walk, out from the compound of a kindergarten, at least that was how was it when I was in a kindergarten. So there was a rope, and the two teachers were at both ends of the rope, and there was a smaller rope or some circle, something you could grab this. And so everybody was bound to the long rope and to the small rope. And that's how you're controlled. So controlled by the teachers. Children are also controlled. They should be controlled. They cannot live on their own. It's too dangerous. The world is too dangerous. So that's one example. This is the bull. Bull works. And he provides, and he also balim vahanti. This bali can be translated as an offering, something which you have to, like you give in yagya, or give a donation to someone, tribute. Or in the context of the bull, they have to carry, load, they have to do something for the master. And man, humans, they are bound by the long rope, which is the Vedas. The Vedas are instructions for the human beings. And there's a small rope, which is here, nāmabhiḥ, which says nomenclatures, which designations of people, different people. Some are in terms of varnashrama. So varna and ashrama, so there's different rules for different varnas and ashramas, and human beings are bound to follow them. And vahanti balim īśituḥ, and they have to give offering to the Lord, īśituḥ, īśitā, īśitri. The same word means the same as Isha. So they have to give an offering. They have to, in other words, serve. They have to do something. The example is given by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that the Brahmins, they have to, every day, 3 times a day, every Sandhya, they have to offer Sandhya Vandana. They have to, because that's their duty. And similarly, all other varnas, ashramas, they have their duties and they have to follow them. They're bound by this. And Prabhupada translates balim as orders. Also possible. Human beings have to follow the orders of the Supreme. That's how they execute their duty. That's how they bound. They have to. And Prabhupada takes on this in his purport that we are bound completely. We are completely bound, whether especially in the conditioned state of existence. And this is kind of what you wouldn't expect, because if you are completely surrendered to the Lord, you are a servant of the Lord, means that you obey the laws of the Lord, then you are free. But if you choose not to, if you on your own choose to have no master, be your own master in the material world, and then you are bound. It seems that the condition where in the spiritual world is the position of kind of slaves, servants, and the material world is supposed to be the place of a free man, or free living entities, doing whatever they like. But no, you cannot do whatever you like. That's the whole thing. Prabhupada explains here. The laws of the material laws, which are laws of God, laws of material nature, they are very strict. You cannot break them. And that's, again, they are laws, and it seems that as if you can break them, and you may not follow the rules of varnashrama, you may be outcast, so many things. So, and not always the reaction will come immediately. That's why we do not see how the laws of the Lord are. You cannot escape from the influence. We are bound by them. It comes a little later, it comes in the next life, it comes in maybe a few next lives, but there will be a reaction. So, laws of the Lord cannot be escaped in any way. And the laws of the state, they can be, as Prabhupada says, a cunning man can escape. And there's no consequence for it, because they're not God laws. You can break. If you're not caught, then you're supposed to be a gainer. I don't know, there's different rules. But yes, that is the problem with the laws of state. That they may not be in harmony with the laws of God, for instance. And for that you will suffer. If you're just being a lawful citizen of a state, you not breaking any laws really, but you will be then punishable for breaking the laws of God. If this is there's a difference. Example, for instance, one can do an abortion. It's perfectly legal. As you don't break any law, it's fine, and it's celebrated. How this is a great advancement of the civilization, the rights of human beings, especially women, and fine. And it's within the law. You can do it, but the law of God doesn't permit anyone to kill another living entity without a good cause. And generally it's prohibited, you cannot. There are so many other examples. You can perfectly legally kill a cow and eat it, or just purchase meat and it's easy, and you're perfectly legal, no problem. Again, there's law of God, laws of nature, that one should not, it's not supposed to do that. So Prabhupada suggests the laws of God should be, the laws of state, they should be in harmony with the laws of God. And lawmakers, they don't have to make up the laws. They should just see what is in the Shastra. And perfectly saintly leaders of society, they are acquainted with Shastra, and as Prabhupada says here, that the codes of religion, scriptural injunctions, are made by liberated representatives of God in consideration of different conditions of living, and by carrying out the orders of the Lord, the conditioned living beings gradually become free from the clutches of material existence. So now the same rules which are binding in the sense that we cannot get out of the material world, not the same rules, but the rules. Now if they are in harmony with God's laws, and they say liberated representative of God, it means rishis, acharyas, they consider what's the situation of humans in general and in particular groups within them, and then give the rules, give the rules what to follow. There are many laws, you can say. There's so much shastra, what to follow, and some of the shastra may be in opposition to another part of shastra. What to do? Definitely, a human being cannot just follow whatever. That's why it said that dharmasya tattvam nihitam guhayam. Actually, the truth, what is actually dharma, what is to be followed, is hidden in the hearts of great persons, great sages, mahajana yena gatā sapantaha. We should follow them. And we see we should follow them. Yeah, it's for us, or it's easy. We read in a digested form the Shastra, Srimad Bhagavatam. In itself is a potent, the representative of the Lord. It's non-different from the Lord. But then when it is further enriched with the commentaries, with the pouring out of the heart of the pure souls, pure devotees, which are these commentaries, then they are completely work for the benefit of living entities. And right, so we are speaking that, or Prabhupada is mentioning that in any case, living entity has to follow the laws of the Lord, either in liberated state or in the conditioned state. There's no difference. In one sense, there's no difference. In the sense that we have to follow. And in that sense also, whatever happens is perfectly fine, because the laws of God are being obeyed, and they fail without any, they do not fail. There's no instance when something can fail. So in one sense, everything is fine, right? But it's not fine, because the living entity is the eternal servant of the Lord, and there's it's not just to follow the Lord or not to follow the Lord, the God laws, but it is about fulfilling the purpose of human or any the Atma, the purpose of Jiva. What is the purpose? Is Jiva Swarup Krishna Nityadas. But so whatever happens in this material world, we see so much suffering, and we may ask, or so many ask, so why, okay, there's God, but why did He allow all this? What's the problem? Why He couldn't make it in such a way that we follow the laws of God without any pain, without any suffering? Actually, that a jiva has to have a free will to really to be able to love God unconditionally by His own choice. Not that it is as soon as there's God doesn't leave a free choice. You love God. It becomes no different from a stone or a robot. Robot is programmed to do in a certain way, and there's no interaction. There's no rasa. It's just robots. Some are happy. You just you pay your workers, you pay your servants, and they work for you. But there's no real exchange of any rasa. It's not pleasurable. It's just it's a convenient way how to get things done. But that's not what Krishna is all about. We're not slaves at all. Just the reformatory institution, which is this world, Durga, a prison house, is a place where one, by having a choice to follow or not to follow the Lord, to follow His rules, if one follows this, then there's a good result. There's a, so to say, nice life and not much suffering. Of course, there will be always suffering in the material world, and one can advance further towards the Lord. But the pain and sufferings of the living entity are actually that thing which purifies the jivas and makes us think, what is this all about? Why this material nature is, or whatever it is, why is it so strong? Why can I not be always happy? And even whenever I'm happy, it's just very short. One need not to endeavor for even happiness or unhappiness. It comes on its own accord. That's the injunction of the Bhagavatam. It says, just go beyond all this happiness and unhappiness in the material world. You should endeavor for that which is not attained by performing either good or bad activities. And that's what it is actually condemned here. Prabhupada says that, people they put on their designation as Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Shudras, Hindus, Mohammedans, Indians, and so forth, Europeans. And they basically they are just blind by all this, by all these designations, thinking that this is not knowing that they are actually beyond that. Now the same rules, these ropes by which we are bound by to the orders of the Supreme Lord. Actually, in the shloka itself, it's not presented as something bad and inherently, and it's the rules, the laws of God are actually for our benefit. It's not, but one has to understand what's the purpose, and to understand that really, we are servants of God. We're supposed to love Him. It's not about our personal gain or loss. And if one is following the rules of an ashrama just for the personal gain or loss, without having the big picture, the satisfaction of Krishna, satisfaction of Vishnu, then this is condemned, and this is it's condemned. But the same arrangement with someone who is in control means when this is a devotee made varnashrama, when it's understood that that this is to please the Lord, then these rules they will be beneficial for the jiva. They will not be a cause of entanglement, but a cause of liberation. So, for instance, so designations of Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, they can be good if those who are in them, they understand they're not that. They're more than that. This is just it's a function. That's how we function when we do not chant Hare Krishna. We have to do something. And different people are able differently, gifted differently, so they do their service to the Lord in different ways. And there's no gradation in a sense, this is higher, this is lower. It's just whatever it's convenient, whatever it's best for a person. And there's no bar that just the Brahmins can go back to Godhead and not the Shudras. It's not at all like that, because everyone engaged in such a system is a devotee of the Lord, and results of their activities go for the service of the Lord, and of course they have all their own personal sadhana, which is basically the same for everyone, especially for those who are more serious, those who take initiation. So in that sense, then there's robes of Vedic injunctions and smaller robes, particular rules. They will pull us back to Godhead. And the special, if we follow the Mahajanas, that will be also that they are giving this rope onto which we attach ourselves and follow the process. Right. So I'll stop here. So if there's any questions. Oh, actually, what I wanted to say, I forgot. How this movement, Hare Krishna movement, the Sankirtana movement of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to this world just for us, to take us back to the spiritual world, to show the example how to follow God, how to follow Krishna, what to do. It's easier to follow such God who is a devotee, who shows us, and we can it's easy to us to identify with such a mission. You know, Krishna is there's no difference between Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but there's a different mood, and the mood of Krishna is surrender to me. I'll take care of you. But the poor inhabitants in Kali Yuga, they have difficulties. We have difficulties. Just surrender and everything will be fine. I'll take care of you. So we need a process process, how to do that. And this Sankirtana movement is wants to spread all over the world, because it's a blissful movement. It's a movement of chanting Hare Krishna, following the laws of God, and becoming more and more in love of God. And the easiest method how to spread this movement was shown to us by our Mahajan, Srila Prabhupada, who asked everyone to distribute his books, especially in this month of December, and more people can get mercy to connect with the Lord. There's so many people who are actually really just waiting, because this material world is an uncomfortable place to be. And this process is so incredible. It's the information like this one, that one can become equal to the Lord, or even more to the Lord. That's something really amazing. Just recently, I was speaking to visitors from Kolkata. They were interested, and when I told them that you can be a servant of God, you can be a friend with God, you can be a parent of God, and you can be His lover. And they looked to me as like, what? Like, is this, like, are you nuts, or is this for real? I said, no, it's real. You see for yourself. And I realized, being in a association of devotees, this is not something like very extraordinary to hear, to get to know. Oh, it's okay, you can get. Somehow it is very far for most of us. We cannot imagine how it's to be a lover of God. But of course we read, but you cannot artificially shoot yourself up to that level. So therefore we need to follow sadhana bhakti, which will gradually bring us to the higher levels of devotion. But just the information is it's so amazing that it captivates those who are really sincerely seeking something more than just the drudgery of the material world. Yeah, and there's so much misinformation in the world, or in the spiritual circles, so to say. So these same people from Kolkata, like educated and cultured Bengalis, Brahmanas, they said, well, they know there's one rule which they do not like so much. Is why? Is it true that you cannot eat meat and worship God? I said, yeah, it's there. It's in the Bhagavad-gītā. Krishna doesn't want any meat. And Mahaprabhu also, your Mahaprabhu, he's a Bengali. He didn't teach that. And now that was more difficult because it's not theoretical anymore. Okay, I can be a lover of God, fine, it's somewhere there. But to give up meat to worship God, why I'm saying, what's the wrong information? The information they get from someone called Paramahamsa, so Paramahamsa, he said that you can eat whatever you like and then worship God. What is the problem? It makes sense. Eating, how is this connected to God? Well, it is connected. It affects the consciousness. You cannot connect it to the service, to any service of the Lord. It's just completely out. It's out and out sin, it's pap. So, yes. So these books will tell us and others all about this. You can see this is really such a blow, such a boon for everyone. Prabhupada said even just to touch it, that's punya, and that slowly builds up. When devotees go out, they do Harinam Sankirtan. People hear the holy name. They may purchase the books, may just see them. But this gets the sukriti, which people just they collect more and more and more, and suddenly you become receptive. You don't know what happened really, but it was all these contacts with devotees, with holy places. People come here in Mayapur just to have fun actually, right? But they do not realize. They may know it's Mahaprabhu's Janmastan, okay, but that's not the main purpose why they come. But they'll get benefit. And it may seem very slight. They come as materialists, go as materialists. But as they will come and go like this, they'll get some books, they'll get more holy name. Certainly they will get purified. Yeah. So, yes. So this is how we connect ourselves to the laws of God, which means this, especially Mahaprabhu, of giving this knowledge to others also, and then in connecting them to these ropes of Krishna. They meant the Shastra, which is meant to bring us back to Him and follow the laws of God favorably. You can say to love God is actually the law, what you're supposed to do, right? It's supposed to do, but it's voluntary, and so it ceases to be a law. It's a voluntary thing, and that is the beauty. That's the beauty of pure love of Krishna. Jai Hare Krishna. Are there any questions or comments or some realizations? Yeah.
So sometimes it seems like a paradox, Prabhu. Say, unless devotees have a little higher taste, it's not easy to be fixed up in following the rules and regulations. Even though we know we're supposed to follow, unless there is a higher taste, it doesn't come so nicely. We may force ourselves, right? Yeah. And the higher taste doesn't seem to come so easily. So we have a stage where theoretically we know this is the path, but we don't have the higher taste yet. And it seems a very difficult path actually. So it seems to take multiple lifetimes, many lifetimes. How generally, okay, there are different techniques told in Shastra, but I would request you to share your realization, Prabhu. What is the quickest way, easiest way to cross this transition path where we still don't have the higher taste, but still we have to follow the rules and regulations?
All right, you say you know Shastra, but actually our realizations have to match with Shastra. We cannot have something else, right? So that Upadeshamrita, Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairya Tat Karma Pravartanat, and so on, is so important. These first three, Utsaha Nishchaya Dhairyat. So if you're not enthusiastic, at least we have to be patient. That is something we have to do in this process. It's our own conditioning. The results can come immediately. If we surrender fully to the Lord, we'll get love of Godhead immediately. There's no bar. We have our own, the tempo with which we can surrender is slower than what Krishna offers to us. And then the problem is ours, because we want full ananda, We don't want to suffer. Basically, that's the main thing. What is the problem with not being Krishna conscious? It's that we are suffering. Mental anxiety or whatever. Yes, it's mental actually. Anxieties, we cannot do this, because we cannot do this, we cannot do that. And the main thing is how we came in contact with Krishna consciousness is through sadhu sangha. This is how the Sukriti was accumulated. We could meet devotees unknowing, like we don't know actually they're great devotees, but we help them in some way, serve them. That will accumulate piety. That's initial piety. And then when this collects more and more, we become, as I said, faith in devotional process will arise, and then we will consciously seeking for the association of devotees, because we want to serve, we want to hear from them, and we want that. They're our inspiration. So, and Sajjatiya shaya snigde sadhu sangha svato vare. When in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Rupa Goswami is speaking about the 5 most potent angas of devotional service. One of them is satsanga. But this is, in this line which I recited, is explained a little more. What is this association? It is the most beneficial association with devotees is to associate with those who are of similar mind, they have similar mentality, they are favorably disposed to us, they like us, and they are vara, they are more advanced than us. So that will always make the trick to associate with more advanced devotees than we are, more enthusiastic, and it always makes an impact on me. So that helps you. Like there's this, this I cannot do, I should do, but I cannot do. That brings anxiety to the mind. And some will say, no, you just don't blame yourself. That's a longer way. That's just you're postponing the solution to the problem, because you'll have to come to this point at some point, right? There's something that on the path of surrender from Shraddha to Prema, there may be obstacles, and you may postpone it and be kind of happy. I do not really care anymore. You must have heard something like that. I've heard of many devotees who became a little relaxed. Otherwise I'm too mental. It's too much. It's eating me up. But actually, better method is to associate with devotees of the Lord who are more advanced. And there's one shloka which says that the good qualities of a sadhu, really advanced sadhu, then just reflect upon us. You absorb that. It can be just a momentary thing, but the more you associate, the more you're getting. So, find good association. I think that's the key. That will bring us back to God all the way. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you. No, it's not. Just 1 minute.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradit Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam is only the main for all, each and everything. Lord Krishna is the main. When happiness and distress comes in its own accord, that is as sanctioned by the God only, then how the entities are responsible for their deeds and not following the laws, etc. Because nothing is in the hands of entities now.
How are we responsible?
Yes. When Lord is Sarva Karana Karanam, in what way the entities are responsible?
Well, He The Lord is sarva karana karanam, it's true. But because we have free will, so we decided to be away from Krishna. So he facilitated that. In that sense, he's the karan for everything. He made the material world. Yeah, there's material nature, and there's laws of material nature. But it's our decision, and that Krishna didn't. It's free will. That is the answer to a question. Free will, it's yours. Krishna doesn't manipulate it. It's each and every one of us has free will, and we are responsible for that. Krishna is facilitating everything. In that sense, he's sarva karana karanam. We cannot do anything. We want to be the Lord of everything. What is this? Tiny jiva. So the Lord has to provide all this material world, this phantasmagoria, and we think we're playing here. So in that sense, He is the cause. But no, this is in a sense our creation because we wanted it. It's just like a child wants something, parents provide, but it's not because the parent was forcing this upon the child, but it was the child who was actually wanting that. That is the thing. I hope it's reasonable. It's two words, one free will. That's what it is. Free will. Now we have to surrender to the Lord, use it properly, and join those who innumerable living entities who are using it properly in the spiritual world. Join their sangha and catapult ourselves from here through sadhu sangha. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam